Welcome, friends. It's Ray. Thank you so much for joining me today. In today's video, I am making a couple of patriotic cards. One, a mini slimline, and the other, a regular slimline. I'm using the Hero Art Starlight Starbright background stamp and mid-tone navy ink, and I stamped that 2 to 3 times until I get a really good impression. And I'm stamping that on 120-pound cardstock. Sorry, I lost a little footage here. I did stamp a second panel with a We Are Memory Keepers stamp, everyday stamp set. I will try and find a source. There is a long splatter type stamp image that I used. I used Distress Oxide Festive Berries ink and then heat embossed that using Hero Arts White Satin Pearl embossing powder to give it a pearly sheen finish. And now I've placed it in my MISTI and I'm using the Hero Arts bold script background and that same navy, mid-tone navy ink. And I have stamped it off so that I get like the second impression of that ink on my card panel in the scripty bold, the bold script. I moved back to my panel with the blue stars and cut that down and have placed it on a piece of scrap paper, adding my applied some Versamark ink and added some white satin pearl embossing powder. I used a dry paintbrush to remove some embossing powder from areas that I didn't want it, and then heat embossed that. I love the sheen you get when using white satin pearl embossing powder. I applied my blue panel to my red and white panel using double-sided tape, and then I could have taken my scissors but decided that I wanted to use my paper trimmer to trim off that excess from the top panel. And then I'm placing my panel into my MISTI using my acetate grid to line up my sentiment directly on the panel, and then we'll stamp that. Applied a little anti-static powder using my VersaFine Onyx Black ink, stamp that directly onto the panel, and will heat emboss with clear embossing powder. This sentiment comes from the Hero Arts Everyday Sentiments stamp set. I will link that below as well. I've used double-sided tape to affix my panel to my card base, and now I'm using Nuvo Crystal Glitter Drops in White Blizzard to add a little more sparkle and shine to this panel. Oh, I love the way this card turned out. And next I'm going to make a matching envelope. I will link to my DIY mini slimline card envelope here. I am just putting this together real quickly, but I do have a free template, so do watch the video and on making a slimline envelope. It's super easy. My second card is a regular slimline card, and I've already stamped using the Hero Arts bold script background. I've stamped that onto a slimline panel. I find it easier to put my white panel onto the blue panel and move it about an eighth of an inch from the left, affix it, and then use my trimmer to trim down my right and my bottom border. I printed this sentiment on my printer and then used an MFT sentiment die to cut it out. Cut out a royal blue blank and then used that royal blue to offset the white border or the white sentiment strip. When cutting my card base, I typically score it for slimline at 3 3/4 and then place it into my trimmer and trim it down. I did affix my focal panel to my card base using double-sided tape, and then I will bring in my Phoenix from Hero Arts. I've used this a lot lately. I love this bird. And when I did my last Phoenix video, I also used my Candied Apple and Chip Sapphire Distress reinkers and made this Patriotic Phoenix as well. Um, so here I'm going to go ahead and affix it to the card panel, and I will link to that video where I actually use the reinkers to color another Phoenix, but I did this one the exact same way, just used different colors. I have die cut 3 stars out of my panel and or the colored panel from that I used with the Phoenix, and I cut the red stars, affixing those to my front panel, and I am liking the way this card is coming together. After getting my stars affixed, I did use some Nuvo glitter crystal drops in the white blizzard on this card also to accent those stars, and then decided off camera to also accent the red on the Phoenix. All of the red on the Phoenix has white blizzard on top to give it that extra shine. I hope you've enjoyed today's video and will give me a thumbs up, subscribe if not already a subscriber. And as always, thank you so much for joining me today. Until next time, good day, friends.